craft corner. I just finished editing the video on making this card, mass-produced for that I'm going to take for Stampin' Up! Convention for my swaps, where I made about 100 cards. This video is showing you how to make just one card. You will need Watercolor Wings, and this is a 3-step stamp, and so you get the large butterfly. You can stamp these on top of each other, the small butterfly, and this is even I guess a 4th layer. I haven't used that one yet. I'm also using watercolor wash, and I'm using the fern from Butterfly Basics. I am using a piece of Soft Sky cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, folded in half. So that is our card base. A piece of shimmery white cardstock that is 5 1/4 by 4 for a layer. A little piece of crushed curry and a little piece of window sheet. We're starting with the largest, the most solid butterfly wings on crushed curry. This is a photopolymer stamp, so I'm using my Stampin' Pierce mat. And I am stamping this in the bottom left corner, right where I'm going to want it. I'm going to cut it out, but I'm going to use both pieces. So I want to have this in place. Next I'm going to use the stamp with the least surface amount with the dots, and I'm going to use Cajun Craze. The photopolymer allows you to make sure that you've got all the surface inked nicely, and if I could get my head in the right place I could see right through the stamp and make sure I'm stamping it in the right place. Pretty. And while we have these stamps out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the envelope. First with the crushed curry, and then with the Cajun Craze. Next I'm going to stamp the butterfly with just the edges of the wings onto the window sheet. I don't know if you can see that that's window sheet. I am stamping it with StazOn. StazOn will stain your stamp. The photopolymer stamps tend to stain anyway, and StazOn of course is going to stain. I found that I was able to clean almost all the StazOn off with StazOn cleaner and rubbing it with a microfiber cloth. It will still be stained, but you can see I stamped 100 cards with this stamp and had StazOn all over the middle of this stamp, and it really cleaned up pretty well, and so it's still clear enough to use. Next step is to cut out the butterfly with the bold butterfly framelit. I'm putting the big one on the shimmery white cardstock. And as I'm running it through the big shot, I'm also going to cut out the little one. And because it has so many little pieces, I'm going to put a piece of wax paper over it. And I'm going to cut these both out at the same time. I'm going to keep both pieces here. This piece comes apart. I will have to do some poking on the little pieces. Any little tool, I usually use my piercing tool. I've got this dental tool here. Anything little that sticks through, they come right out. And I also need to cut out the window sheet with that same big bold framelit. Next step is the watercolor wash. I went ahead and bought this in wood mount, and I'm inking that with Soft Sky. And it really works best to use a brayer. I'm going to ink up the brayer by rolling it the same direction. So I'm rolling it and then lifting it up, and you'll get a nice even layer on your stamp that way. You're going to lay the paper on top and then cover this with a piece of scrap paper, and then you want to give a nice even press. And so I'm using a block, clear block for that, kind of like ironing it. Next we're going to use the large fern from Butterfly Basics and Garden Green ink. And I'm just kind of layering this across where the butterfly cutout is. Then I'm going to start assembling it. I'm going to adhere it to the card base. I am using the multi-purpose liquid glue because this gives me some wiggle room to adjust where I have it placed on my card. And I should have looked for this earlier. My card isn't quite exactly perfectly scored, and I should have used the bone folder anyway to get a good crease on that, so now's a good time to do that. Now I'm getting out my Memento ink. I am going to stamp the greeting. In the top left corner. I'm going to pull in some scrap paper and stamp my butterfly body with that same Memento ink. And this is going to be easier to do when I can put my head over it. And we also want to stamp that same image on the cutout. I'm going to put the antenna on. I'm using Fast Fuse, but snail, any of your adhesives I think would work. And I'm finding the end. This is really fine silver thread. I just love it. And it's not bold, but it'll add just a little bit of sparkle. And I'm just kind of twisting it around and snipping it. It's only about 3 inches or so of thread. Add a couple of dimensionals to the wings. If you are hand delivering this, you can actually fold this butterfly up, and you can do some folding this way too if you'd like. And add the butterfly right to the place you cut it out. Place a couple of mini glue dots right between the thorax and the abdomen of the butterfly, the waist of the butterfly. And again, you can fold your window sheet wings if you'd like. Place those over another couple of glue dots right directly over the other two. And the third layer of wings. And even though I got this crooked, when I place it over the other butterfly, it kind of evens those out. I want to add a little bit more bling by putting rhinestones over the dots. Those wings. And that's it. My card is complete. I just love this card. It goes together really quickly. If you would like to order any of the supplies or see how to mass produce it or get the full instructions, come on over to my website, bevadams.com. Talk to you soon. Bye.